We start with the Russia-Ukraine war tonight because remember, the brutal cycle of attacks has been intensifying as missiles and drones reshape the battlefield. After Ukraine went deep and attacked Russian energy infrastructure, a barrage of glide bombs were unleashed upon Ukraine. Remember, this comes amid an admission of fuel shortage by President Vladimir Putin. Nevertheless, both sides are targeting what keeps the war machine alive, and a new wave of strikes is only escalating this conflict. Take a look at this report that gets you more details.
The night sky over Ukraine turned into a battlefield. Explosions ripped through cities as Russia launched another wave of aerial attacks, sending powerful weapons crashing into civilian areas and frontline regions. In Ukraine's Dnipro, according to local authorities, a Russian strike killed at least 4 people and injured more than 20 others in the region. Emergency crews rushed through damaged areas as rescue operations began, searching through the aftermath of the attack. The strikes continued across Ukraine in the Sumy and Zaporizhzhia regions. According to Kyiv, the Russian attacks injured at least 17 people, with authorities reporting damage and casualties after intense bombardment. In Zaporizhzhia, the scale of the assault shocked residents. 7 glide bombs were reportedly launched within around 90 minutes, creating a wave of destruction as Russia intensified its aerial campaign. The attack showed Moscow's continued use of glide bombs, weapons that allow aircraft to strike targets from a distance while carrying heavy explosive power. The violence spread further. In Kramatorsk, a Russian strike injured 3 people, while Ukraine said its air defenses had brought down around 130 Russian drones during another large aerial attack. But the battle is not only happening over Ukrainian skies. Thousands of kilometers away inside Russia, Ukrainian missiles and drones have been systematically targeting Russian missile factories and also destroying critical radar facilities. The Ukrainian president warns that the attacks will only escalate in July. Ukraine's long-range drone campaign has targeted one of Moscow's most important assets, energy infrastructure. Ukrainian drone strikes on Russian oil refineries have disrupted fuel production and created pressure on the country's energy network. Several regions have reported petrol shortages, long queues at fuel stations, and rising prices. The Russian President Vladimir Putin makes rare admission of fuel shortages caused by Ukrainian strikes for many Russians.
These attacks on our facilities certainly create problems. That is obvious. We are currently seeing a certain shortage, though I would say it is not critical.
The impact of the war is now appearing at petrol pumps. Cars line up as drivers wait for fuel supplies. Some stations struggle with shortages as repair work continues after attacks on refinery facilities.
I think the situation is not very good. They say one thing on television and in reality it's another. There's plenty of people waiting in lines. Whether there's gas, I don't know. People are queuing everywhere.
The strikes reveal a changing battlefield. Ukraine is attempting to hit Russia's economic backbone, while Moscow continues launching devastating attacks on Ukrainian cities. The war is no longer limited to front lines. It is spreading into skies, energy networks, and daily life on both sides. And as each side searches for new ways to weaken the other, the pressure of the conflict continues to grow. Bureau Report, WION The World is One.
Pakistani Army Chief Asim Munir's misadventure of attacking Afghanistan has backfired once again. This time, the Taliban not only launched retaliatory strikes inside Pakistan, but they also exposed how ISIS, the world's deadliest terror group, continues to find a safe haven under Munir's watch. As per Afghan Defense Ministry, airstrikes were conducted on centers of ISIS, allegedly operating in the Saranan area of Balochistan's Pishin district and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Kambar Khel and Garam Chashma areas. Now, according to them, these centers were used as a coordination hub to bomb Afghanistan, in which civilians were targeted, and for sabotage attacks. In fact, they also stressed that these strikes inflicted heavy casualties and material losses on ISIS without resulting in any civilian casualty. Earlier, remember, on the 28th of June, Pakistan had targeted 3 eastern provinces of Afghanistan, Paktika, Kunar and Paktia. While Islamabad claimed to have killed 29 terrorists, Taliban asserted that at least 36 civilians, including children, had been killed, whereas 163 others had been wounded. On its part, though, Pakistan refuted Taliban's claim of strikes. Instead, the Pakistani military stated that Afghanistan launched 4 rudimentary drones into Balochistan to support terror outfits. It also added that these incoming drones were neutralized using sophisticated countermeasures. Asim Muni's forces also warned that any further provocations would invite a strong response. But remember, this has raised a larger question. At a time when Pakistan is desperately trying to be in America's good books amid the West Asian war, is it harboring America's adversary, the ISIS, or its offshoot, the Islamic State Khorasan province? During Donald Trump's presidency, remember, the U.S. military has repeatedly targeted ISIS terrorists across the world. For instance, CENTCOM forces conducted an airstrikes on northwestern Syria on the 19th of June this year that reportedly resulted in the death of a senior ISIS leader, Ali Hussein al-Ulaivi. This also assumes significance as ISKP and the Afghan Taliban view each other as ideological enemies owing to their distinct worldview. While Taliban is confined to governing Afghanistan, ISKP's goal is to build a global caliphate. Since seizing power in Afghanistan in 2021, the Afghan Taliban has stepped up operations against ISKP, especially in the Nangarhar province, where it is believed to have a strong foothold. Now, ISKP's presence in Pakistan was confirmed in a recent U.S. Congressional Research report. As per this report, this outfit has an estimated strength of 4,000 to 6,000 members. Most of these fighters are believed to be former members of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and the Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan. The report also mentioned that this group is based not only in Afghanistan but also in Pakistan, where it fights alongside alienated Afghan Taliban members. While Pakistan helped America in the capture of ISKP's Mohammad Sharifullah, the alleged mastermind of the 2021 Kabul bombing that killed 13 American troops, its actions are now perceived to be deceptive. In October last year, remember, an intelligence dossier revealed that Lashkar-e-Taiba and the ISKP are coordinating operations with attempts to destabilize India under the direct patronage of Pakistan's spy agency, the ISI. For instance, a photograph accessed by WION showed ISKP's Balochistan coordinator Mir Shafiq Mengal gifting a pistol to LET commander Rana Mohammad Ashfaq. Mengal has been facilitating ISKP's operations in Balochistan's Mastung and Khuzdar. And this is not all. As per an intel report, ISKP's propaganda magazine called Yalgar also expressed intent to expand its terrorist attacks into Jammu and Kashmir. While Pakistan remains in denial, it is increasingly clear that Asim Muni's support for terror groups continues unabated. All right, shifting our focus now, Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi begins her India visit today for the 16th India-Japan Annual Summit. This marks Takaichi's first visit as the Prime Minister here in India and arguably her most consequential, with her bet on the India-Japan ties as crucial to the Indo-Pacific region as well as India's northeast. Our next report gets you why this is significant.
Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi is in India for the 16th India-Japan Annual Summit. The visit comes at a time of dramatic geopolitical churn. Both India and Japan have dealt with tariffs imposed by Trump administration, the economic fallout of the Iran war, and the disruption of energy supplies. The interim deal between the US and Iran remains uncertain too at the moment. Ahead of her visit, in an op-ed for the Times of India, PM Takaichi invoked Hindu spiritual leader Swami Vivekananda and former Japanese PM Shinzo Abe's words, "A strong India is good for Japan and a strong Japan is good for India." Economic, security and energy cooperation tops the agenda. The two leaders are expected to discuss expanding Japanese investments in India, strengthening resilient supply chains and boosting collaboration in semiconductors, critical minerals and advanced manufacturing. Japan is India's fifth largest investor, with cumulative FDI at $48 billion and a 10 trillion yen private investment target set for the next decade. Around 1,500 Japanese firms operate in India, many relocating out of China facing regulatory and geopolitical friction. India and Japan are part of the crucial Quad group. In order to maintain the Indo-Pacific's accessibility and prosperity, it supports free commerce, freedom of navigation and the rule of law. Regional peace, economic prosperity and maritime freedom then become cornerstones of the IOR region. It helps promote connectivity, free trade agreements and investments in high-quality infrastructure are all ways to achieve economic prosperity at a time when expansionist policy is threatening the region. But it's not just international spaces. The India-Japan relationship will benefit the northeastern states, thereby creating a crucial security assurance for the two Asian partners. The Japan-funded Dhubri-Phulbari bridge connects the state of Assam and Meghalaya. It's a massive 19.3-kilometer 4-lane bridge over the Brahmaputra River, the longest river bridge in India, expected to be completed by 2028. It costs over 3,000 crore rupees and is supported by the Japan International Cooperation Agency. It would reduce the travel between Dhubri and Phulbari from over 8 hours by road or 2.5 hours by ferry to just about 23 minutes. Tokyo is also helping build an industrial value chain stretching from Assam through Bangladesh to the ASEAN nations. Especially, Japan isn't just building infrastructure, it's building an alternate corridor that bypasses Chinese choke points entirely. With shared interests spanning economic growth, security and regional stability, Prime Minister Takaichi's first visit to India is being seen as an important step in strengthening one of Asia's most significant strategic partnerships. The outcomes of the summit are not just expected to shape India-Japan cooperation for the decade ahead, but also define Indo-Pacific prosperity. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Amid escalating tensions with Taiwan, Chinese President Xi Jinping's ambition was on display yet again. Addressing a gathering to mark the 105th anniversary of the Communist Party of China, or the CPC, he issued a clarion call for the complete reunification of China. In a speech to political and military leaders, Xi Jinping stressed that resolving the Taiwan question and achieving the country's reunification is a historic mission and unshakable commitment for the CPC.
We attach great importance to our self-development, resolutely remove whatever undermines the party's purity and advanced nature, and rid ourselves of any virus that erodes the party's health, tempering ourselves through revolution and grown stronger.
Lauding the party's role in shaping global development over the past century, he also claimed that the party has always stood on the right side of history. As of the end of 2025, the CPC had nearly 101.29 million members, showing a 1% growth as compared to 2024. And this is not all. While vowing to strengthen and modernize the military, he also resolved to get rid of anyone who undermines CCP's purity. Now, this is being perceived as a reference to his ongoing corruption crackdown. Already, remember, multiple senior military figures have been sacked. The shakeup has been so extensive that China's top military body is down from 7 to only 2 members now, which includes Xi himself.
We must thoroughly implement the CPC's overall policy for resolving the Taiwan question in the new era, uphold the One China principle and the 1992 consensus, unite the Taiwan compatriots, deepen cross-strait exchanges, cooperation and integrated development, resolutely fight secessionists seeking Taiwan independence, oppose external interference and advance national reunification.
Now, Xi's remarks come barely a day after Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te warned military cadets not to succumb to China's spying activities. Speaking at their graduation ceremony, he urged cadets to oppose communism, uphold democracy, and he insisted that Taiwan is not subordinate to China. Tensions between China and Taiwan have risen after the U.S. announced weapons sales worth $11 billion to Taiwan in December last year. And since then, the Chinese military activity around Taiwan has increased as well. Last week, Taiwan's armed forces held 5 days of combat readiness drills, showcasing their range of weapons, including domestically developed Sky Sword 2 missile, portable drone, as well as a US-made military equipment, including HIMARS launchers and other systems. Now, as part of this, it conducted exercises simulating its response to a potential Chinese maritime blockade, wherein Beijing demands approval from ships to use Taiwanese ports. The Chinese president's stance on Taiwan just goes on to reiterate that fears of a fresh conflict cannot be understated.